All right, welcome everybody. Today we're going to be talking about how to start your own freelance consulting business. So I own a business called Hartshorn Analytics, which is a full stack business analytics consulting service that I started about over a year ago. And one of the things I found hardest to do about this is really just getting it started, getting it off the ground. I am working on building up my business more, getting more clients, getting more work, but I wanted to take a moment to talk to you about how I did it and how to really run a consulting business. So I broke this down into 5 steps for this video. Step 1 is just forming a business, an official company entity. Step 2 is getting clients. It's arguably the hardest part about doing a freelance consulting business, is just getting clients. Number 3 is managing your interactions with the clients, but most especially what prices you set for your work. Number 4 is handling the accounting or the finances of your business, right? How are you tracking what you're making? How are you tracking what you're spending? And a little bit about the taxation on all of that. And step 5, I'm going to hold till the very end, which is arguably the most important step, but wait till the end of the video and you'll see what it is. Okay, so let's get right into it with a little bit more detail on each step. Step 1 is forming a business. And so this means an official company entity. You form an official business which has a lot of perks. And the main perk is really you get to track your expenses and you get better tax benefits. And there are 2 real options if you're starting a small boutique freelance consulting business. One is the sole proprietorship or a dual proprietorship, doesn't matter. The other real option is an LLC, a limited liability company. So both have what we call pass-through taxation, which means you do taxes on your own personal tax form. Sole proprietorship is very simple to set up. It really doesn't cost you much at all. It cost me $35 and a single page form to the city of San Diego, where I live, and that's it. I officially have my own business after just that easy. LLC, it'll take you more money, more logistics, but the benefit you have over a sole proprietorship is that you have limited liability. It's in the name. There are pros and cons to each business, and I would recommend looking at an article on NerdWallet, which gives a really good comparison between a sole proprietorship and an LLC. It's linked down below in the description. Check it out. Okay, step 2 is getting clients. Like I said, the hardest part about starting a freelance consulting business. You might start a business because you have somebody that asks you to do something for them. And then that's why you started a business. That's why I started a consulting business, because I had somebody interested in the skills that I was doing at my full-time job. Right? So that's the easy way of doing it. But then getting more clients on top of that is always the hard part. Or just getting your first client is tough. So there are a few things that you can do that I'd recommend you try. The first thing is that there are a lot of now matching services out there that match your freelancing skills to clients looking for those specific skills. I'm talking about sites like Fiverr or Upwork, or there are many others as well. All you need to do is build a portfolio, say what kind of services and skills that you're looking for, and then Fiverr is passive, where you really build up a good portfolio and then you wait for people to come and ask you for work, where Upwork is a little more active, where people post jobs after you've created your profile and you submit proposals to them and say, hey, I can do this for you, and this is why. And so those are really good to get your portfolio going, build up some credibility, build them some small projects, small clients. Right? But what you really want are big long-term clients. And those you might need to get a little bit more actively than one of those matching sites. So there are a few tricks to doing that. The first and best trick for honestly anything is to reach out to people you know, whether it's friends, family, or really just your social network. Reach out on Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever other social media sites you use, reach out to those people and see if they need your specific skills and services for. Maybe it's they work for a big company and they need somebody to freelance a few things for them. Or maybe they're starting out their own consultancy business and they need other freelancers to help them on specific skills. Whatever it may be, that's always a good place to start. So use your network that you already have established. The second option you have, which is a little bit more work, but it can yield very good results, is you look on websites like LinkedIn, Indeed, other places that have full-time job postings. You find job postings that require the same skill sets that you're trying to do your freelancing work for and semi-apply to those postings. If you can directly message the talent acquisition person, do that and be like, hey, I know you have this full-time posting, alternate proposal for you, right? I can do this for you without a W-2. I can do this with just a simple 1099, and I can do as much or as little as you need. There's no overhead costs. If you hire me as a consultant, you have a lot of those when you're hired full-time. There's no upfront training costs. You don't need to pay me benefits, retirement, anything like that. And I can do as much or as little as you need. Give them a really good reason why it's actually cheaper and easier to hire you rather than a full-time person. Or at the very least, hiring a full-time person it's a process, right? If you've ever worked at a company or ever tried to do it at all, you realize that it's a long process to go from starting to look for people to hiring somebody, to training them and having them really productive as a full-time employee. So you can also email these talent acquisition people or just apply to the job and your cover letter gives your pitch, right? And say, hey, even if you don't want me instead of a full-time person, it's still going to take a few months to get somebody really ramped up as a full-time person. I can do the job for you. If you need immediate work or immediate help, I can do it for you for 2 to 3 months while you onboard this person. And that can get you a lot of work as well. You'll have to send out a lot of applications, but it's a shotgun approach. Work hard to get clients. And then once you start getting clients, it becomes easier and easier because if you do a good job, then hopefully you'll have repeat clients. You don't need to find as many new clients. And then it gets easier. And also you have more work, more clients, you have more experience, you have more legitimacy, and so clients will want to work with you more. So the hardest part is always at the very beginning, finding those clients, building up that portfolio, and then it gets easier and easier. So you need to do a lot of work up front. So work hard, make it happen, and you're going to be very successful. Step 3, once you have clients, how much are you going to ask them to pay you, right? And how are you going to structure that? How does that all work? The logistics of that and managing those projects and deliverables work. Well, in my experience, there are 2 main options. You can give them an hourly rate, or you can give them a flat rate for a specific project. In my mind, the ideal circumstance is actually a flat rate. So you say, okay, for this project that you want me to do, I'm going to charge you X amount of money total for the entire project. And that works really well if and only if you know and are very confident how long it's going to take you to do that specific project. Because the customer likes that better too. It's like, okay, I know I'm going to be paying X amount of money up front, makes them happier, makes you happier because you know exactly what you need to do. The one caveat to that is that make sure that you have a good set of deliverables and a good set of requirements from your clients. The last thing you want to do is have a fixed price for a project and then they ask you to modify some things that they thought were in scope beforehand, but you didn't expect or you assumed were not in scope for the project. So just be very clear about exactly what you're going to deliver and when, and then any modifications they want, right? You can charge an hourly rate for those, let's say. But just be very clear about it up front. That's really going to be a win-win for both of you. Otherwise, for a lot of new projects, a lot of new consulting work, honestly, an hourly rate is best. You agree upon at the very beginning, before you're doing the work, on an hourly rate, track your hours. The last piece of step 3 is coming up with a good hourly rate, right? The best place to start is always, if you've had a 9-to-5 job, a full-time job in the past, you know how much you were making in that job. But keep in mind that that salary that you get is not what the company pays for you. The company, on top of what they pay your salary, they're also paying you benefits, insurance, retirement matching, all that kind of stuff. And then there's also other overhead costs that they pay, that your old company pays to have you as an employee. Whether it's cost of your computer, your office space, the electricity to run your office, any of that, that's all overhead on top of your salary. And that's, a good estimate is 40-50% on top of what you're making. So let's say you're making $100,000. The company's probably paying somewhere around $150,000 for your total expense package. Use that number, the $150,000 instead of the $100,000, and convert that to an hourly rate. And that's a good starting point for your consulting business, as long as you're 9-to-5, you were doing the same skill sets as you're trying to advertise in your consulting work. If you don't have that background, honestly, just Google search it. If you're doing a certain type of consulting, Google search how much consultants in this field make, and then choose a reasonable value and try that. And if none of that works, just try a bunch of different rates, right? Advertise yourself at different rates and find the rate that makes you comfortable, and then that also gets you clients. Because you might try and advertise for $500 an hour and not get a single client. Well, that may be what you think you're worth, but other people don't think you're worth that. So try something lower till you find the right value, so just trial and error. Number 4 is doing your accounting. Now that you're making money, hopefully you stop this video, you got a bunch of new clients from this advice, you set a lot of good prices, you started this video again, now you've made some money, and you've also spent some money. So how do you deal with your basic accounting for your business? You are your own business entity now. Whether it's a sole proprietorship or LLC, really the accounting and taxation works the same. All you need to do is track how much money is coming in, which is your revenue, how much money you're spending, which are your expenses, and subtract expenses from revenue, and that gives you your total profits. And your profits are what you're actually taxed on as a business. You need to track your revenue. You track how much money is coming in, how much clients pay you, whether it's per hour, per project, whatever it is, just track your invoices, right? That piece of it should be fairly simple. The complex part is tracking all your expenses. But you can expense a lot of things to eat into your profits for taxation purposes, right? So if I buy a computer to do my business analytics, that's an expense. That's a cost of me doing business. Even my internet, my gas bill, my electric bill, my cell phone bill, I can expense a portion of that. I use them for my personal reasons, but I also use them for business reasons as well. Honestly, just think about a good breaking point between that. I use my internet 20% of the time for my business. So I'm going to expense 20% of my internet bill and call that a business expense. You can do that for anything. You can do that from your home office. If you spend money building a desk, buying a desk, building up your office, that's also an expense. Track your expenses, track your revenue to get your total profits, which are what you're going to use and be taxed on your personal tax return at the end of the year. You can track things on paper if you want. That's how they used to do it in big accounting books. You can do it on Excel. That's how Excel started. It's just a basic accounting software. Or you can do it on a service that is built for this. Intuit QuickBooks online, I use the self-employed version, is simple. It helps you track your expenses because you can link it to your credit cards, your bank accounts, that kind of thing, and you can just mark what your expenses were, which was a business expense versus a personal expense. You can invoice through that, so you can track how much money you've made in your business directly through that. And then you can also get the tax bundle because it matches with TurboTax if you use that. Unpaid advertising, but that's what I use, practically speaking, to track and do the accounting for my business. So those are the first 4 steps. Those are really all the logistics that it takes to form your own business. Step 5, which I said I wasn't going to tell you till the end, which I'll tell you right now, but just be honest and do a good job. Because the most successful consulting businesses get repeat clients, repeat customers, and good testimonials. And then they can recommend you, or at least give you a testimonial saying, oh, this person did a great job. It's just like Yelp. Most of you probably look on Yelp when you're looking at what restaurant to go to. And if they have good reviews, you're much more likely to use them than if they have bad reviews. So just do a good job, put your best foot forward all the time, even on your pricing. Be honest about your hourly rates. Don't do a low hourly rate, but then quote them many more hours, because then you're being dishonest about it. Quote them a higher rate for the amount of hours that you truly think it will take, and it'll pay off in the long run. So just do a good job, or do everything to the best of your abilities, and you're going to be successful. It's true on anything, but it's especially true when you're forming your own freelance consulting business, and it's up to you and you alone to get more customers and build more work and build your reputation and your portfolio. Okay? So those are the 5 steps to building your own consulting business. I hope this helped. If I missed anything, or if you run a business and there was something that really helped you that I missed, please drop a comment down below. I'm still trying to grow my business, so I'd love to hear more advice from you guys, and I'm sure people watching this would also love to hear your advice. So please, let's start a discussion. I'll respond to you. I'm going to be having a lot more videos out here, because one of the best ways to build your credibility is to post, usually write a blog article, write a LinkedIn article about your area of expertise. I am making a YouTube channel on my area of expertise for my full stack business analytics. This is my intro video where we're talking about forming a business, a consulting business as a whole, but my subsequent videos are going to be a little bit more in depth on the technical aspects of my consulting business, whether it's data engineering, data management, analytics, marketing and brand management, writing reports, creating good presentations, all that kind of stuff, those technicalities of it. I'm going to be making more videos on to show my credibility, to help build my consulting business, just like you can help to do for yours. So thank you so much for watching. Again, comment, like, subscribe below. Until next time, goodbye.